Amira Hass is the only Jewish Israeli living in the occupied West Bank. This simple fact, she says, speaks of how disconnected the Israeli public is from the reality of the occupation.
First of all, I would say that the word occupation has been almost erased from the Israeli dictionary. The general Israeli dictionary doesn't know it anymore. It is Yehuda and Samaria, it is Palestinian, there is an assumption that there is Palestinian sovereignty within the enclaves that have been created over the years during the Oslo process. So that there is an idea that there is a sovereignty over there. So what are they complaining about? Occupation. And God promised us the land, and Oslo says that 60% of the land is to be negotiated, which means it is Israeli. This is the general, I would say, a bit in a caricature way, but the general attitude is that occupation is not, it is not occupation anymore. That since Oslo, that since the establishment of the Palestinian Authority, occupation stopped, let alone Gaza, that they believe that it is not occupied at all. Of course, this is not my opinion. I think that everything is occupied, including East Jerusalem. Gaza, East Jerusalem, and the West Bank were all occupied militarily in 1967, and they are still today occupied by Israel, which means Palestinians there do not have the freedom to choose their life, to choose their political course, to be safe in their own homes, to be safe in their own land, and to guarantee a future for their children. Everything is in the hands of Israel. So this is the general Israeli idea. And because it is not occupation, they view any Palestinian opposition or resistance to the reality as terrorism, or as being ungrateful to Israeli generosity, or being radical, or being
generosity. Extreme.
The generosity that we allow them to, I don't know, to be. So it is probably not the general. It is an idea that the Palestinians are here because of our goodwill, not because it's their right, not because they are people of the land, not because they are natives here, not because they have been, their families have been here for hundreds of years.
Menachem Klein shares Amira Hass's views. He teaches at Bar-Ilan University in Ramat Gan, just outside Tel Aviv, and says despite the majority of Israelis supporting full sovereignty over Jerusalem, the biggest split in opinion is towards the peace process.
On Jerusalem, the majority of the Israelis support Netanyahu's policy of exclusive Israeli sovereignty over East and West Jerusalem, as Israel defines it. Regarding the peace process, they may split, okay, the Israeli public and Netanyahu if the circumstances changes and there is a package deal. So I assume that the center will move towards the left and leave Netanyahu with the right wing regarding a package deal with concessions.
But what kind of concessions are you talking about when a lot of the things have already been decided between the US and Israel?
Yeah, okay, you are right, and we can elaborate later on it. But if, for instance, there is a package deal of establishing a Palestinian state over most of the West Bank, okay, and of course Gaza Strip, and so then with the evacuating settlements, security arrangements, there a split can happen between Netanyahu, the right wing, and the right wing, and the Israeli center, and moving towards the center moves towards the left. Will it be enough for the Palestinians to agree on? I doubt.
Tell us about the pressures on Prime Minister Netanyahu specifically and on his government. You've got corruption allegations. How is that feeding in, or how does that fit into this entire event?
Of course, it's it's normal for a politician to be worried about his future job. Okay, that's his profession. He wants to stay in power, and all of a sudden he faces allegations and investigation and probably sue by the state. his legitimacy is shaking, actually. Now, by getting from Trump this present, it improves his perception. He can even say to the Israeli public, see, what I am very important for the security of the state of Israel, for the Israeli policy. I achieved this great achievement from the United States that back us with no division. It's not like Obama. So I must stay in power.
You said this Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem helps Netanyahu. Does it help Israel?
For the short run, for this government interest, yes. For the long run, definitely not. It killed the peace process because it goes beyond Jerusalem. Trump administration backs Netanyahu regarding the West Bank as well, not only Jerusalem, because Trump said that the two-state solution is acceptable for the United States if the sides agree, which means he gave Netanyahu a veto power, and nowhere in his statement you can find UN resolution, international law, international legitimacy that balance between the strong Israelis and the weak Palestinians. It creates a framework for the two-state solution. This framework is not there in Trump's statement, which means United States and Netanyahu stand side by side against the Palestinians, against the Arab League peace treaty, against the international law. That's the meaning, the far-reaching meaning of Trump declaration. It goes much beyond the location of the embassy, much beyond Jerusalem. It's about the West Bank as well.
Menachem Klein represents a section of Israeli society which is against the occupation. But other Israelis not only support this occupation, but the outright annexation of Palestinian lands.